You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Survivor After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Survivor After Show.
What's up, y'all? Bang is for doing. We're here doing another after show at AFTERBUZZ TV for Survivor Season 25, Episode 4, Create a Little Chaos. I'm your host, AJ Gibson, joined again by the lovely Christina Cha, Season 24 veteran.
Hi, everyone.
How was Shanghai?
Shanghai was amazing. I also went to Beijing. Less than 24 hours, I smashed my iPhone to the ground. I tripped over the cobblestone with 4-inch heels.
Well, 4-inch heels and cobblestone aren't really the best combination.
No, it's not. But they did replace my iPhone front.
Nice. Well, we're glad to have you back, and I'm glad you have a new iPhone. Justin Walter, how are you?
Good. Excited to talk about Survivor, as always.
Our resident super fan.
As always.
We've got another super fan of a different type on our panel, but he's not here tonight because he is a super fan of Madonna, and Allen Carrillo is at the Madonna concert right now.
Yes.
So we miss you. Have fun. I saw him before the show. He was pre-partying a bit, I will say.
Just as he should.
He's pretty excited.
Did you pre-party with him?
I have no comment there. Moving on. So let's get right into this episode. I just want to first point out that we do have last week's eliminated survivor voted out in week 3, Angie. Angie, what was her last name?
Angie Layton.
Angie Layton.
The hottie, the Utah, Miss Utah.
Angelia is her full name. What kind of name is that? That's an interesting name.
We'll ask her.
Yeah, we will ask her where that came from. But she's going to be calling in a little bit, so stay tuned for that, you guys. But to kick off this episode, I'd like to talk about the living conditions, because for the first time in a while, it seems like this could be a really, really wet season of Survivor. We've had a few of these in the past. Last year didn't seem too bad. No. There were definitely some episodes, but this episode doesn't start off looking too promising for these competitors, these survivors, especially for the Matsing tribe.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this season before it came out, and one of the biggest things that they said, or the buzz, was that it was a wet, harsh condition season, and we clearly saw tonight that they're miserable living in the campsites with the rain, and even I think it was funny in a lot of their confessional interviews, they're just being poured on, and the rain is just dripping on them, and you can definitely tell that conditions in the Philippines are a little rough.
Yeah, the rain was definitely dripping on them. I wasn't pre-partying, I promise. Yeah, it started off with the 3 of them just kind of sitting around,
and they were just completely silent. It was like I was feeling a little awkward watching the silence and the awkwardness between the 3 of them as they were trying to make fire. We're talking about the disappearing tribe that we renamed it last week.
Yeah, the disappearing
What did you
tribe.
guys? Oh, you call them the Blink Tribe.
Yeah, the blue tribe is now, Christina, the disappearing tribe.
Yeah, instead of
Disappearing
Matsing,
tribe.
it's disappearing. And Denise pointed that out, that it gets really awkward. They talk, and then when there's silence, it gets strange.
Yeah.
Because, if you lose again, your chances of going home are pretty high.
Yeah. And it's only week 4,
Yeah,
or
we're on day,
episode 4, day
It starts
9,
on day 9, I believe.
Yeah, or day 8 or whatever, and they're already down to 3.
It's the worst feeling. Like, I know I was in a tribe where we just kept on losing, and the rain was coming down, the conditions are tough, and the only thing you can think about is like, you want to be positive in that situation, but you can't. You think that we can win and we can overcome this. There's nothing left. It's do or die. But you can't help going like, man, I am so over this.
Yeah.
And also, like, that's the thing about the show. I mean, there's obviously a lot of strategy involved, but there's also a lot of luck involved. And what tribe you get thrown on, like Denise is a hoss, as they refer to her later in the episode. But somebody like Denise or even Malcolm, like on any other tribe, they'd be sitting pretty right now. But now they're on this tribe that's being decimated from right out the gate, basically. And then Malcolm, or I'm sorry, Russell comes back, and this guy's thinking, this is my shot at redemption, and this is not not how I planned things at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's a completely different game. I can't even imagine. You know, you have a game plan, I'm sure, going in, but you get out there and everything is just...
You have to adjust.
It never turns out the way that you expect it to be.
How could it?
Yeah. And another thing, too, Christina, I don't know if you can add on to this, is in terms of the rain, it inhibits you from actually leaving and actually talking and kind of
you want to stay in your shelter
with those people.
You do. You want to stay with them. You want to make sure they're not strategizing behind you. And two, like you want to stay as dry as possible. What you need, you would understand. You want to keep your feet, your hands dry as possible. If it starts to brittle, it's really bad. So.
And I feel like it just has to drive you nuts.
Oh,
you know,
completely.
because I did. Obviously, I was on a show where we were outdoors, but there was no strategy involved in my show. We just had to bust ass and compete. On this show,
It's physical.
it's physical, it's mental, it's so many different things. And these survivors. You know, I'm thinking if you're down to 3, you're trying to make sure your alliance. If you're Malcolm, you're trying to make sure your alliance with Denise is okay, or your alliance with Russell, or whoever it is you're actually aligned with is okay. Yeah. But when it's just raining, you can't get away. Yeah. There's no privacy. You can't go. That's got to drive people nuts.
Yeah.
Where, on one hand, you do want to stay dry, so you stay in your campsite, but on the other hand, you want to get away and talk about some stuff.
Well, and especially on the other tribes, then once the rain lets up and it's time to, you know, actually get out of the shelter, then it's like the divisions are so clear in terms of who's talking with who, where the lines are being drawn, and it's not where it's a tribe of 8 or 9 where it's kind of, oh, there's all these multiple levels, where we saw clear divisions tonight in each tribe where the lines are being drawn.
I think it was most evident in Calabal, the red tribe. As soon as the rain lets up, the men go off and they start hunting for
fishing for
the mussels or the clams. Clams. Hunting for clams apparently. And they're out in the water doing their thing, and then the women are back at tribe, or they're in the water somewhere else, some lake, some inland water supply.
They're on the cliff, and it's interesting to me. They're already strategizing a all-female alliance, and I'm thinking to myself, oh. Going to be one of those.
When I liked how they set it up, where it was kind of the guys out in the water, kind of smack talking the girls on, we'll run the tables, they will have nothing, and then they cut to the girls saying, we're not dumb. These guys have been out there for hours talking. What are they? It was Dawson. I remembered her name. Finally, we are starting to learn Red Tribe names tonight. She's like, you know, they're talking about us. Clearly, they're talking about us, and it's kind of like finally we're seeing some strategy on that tribe where it has completely shifted from let's get Penner out, the 5 strong, to 3-3 girls versus guys.
And it's interesting. I can't wait to see what starts to happen finally when one of these other tribes loses. Because I think that, and I thought this going into this week, so maybe I don't know shit about the show, but I think that now, I mean, we see what happens at the end of the episode. You know, Matt sings down to 2. I think they've got an alliance that could get them to the final 2 if they play it right, because right now nobody else has been tested.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, these other 2 tribes are still all rookies. They haven't experienced Survivor at all.
No.
If you're on Matt Sing, you've been through 4 tribal councils in 9 days. You're ready to play the game. These other tribes are just out there. They're on a camping trip right now.
And I think history in the show proves that tribes that lose, they play the game and then they bring a different level of strategy. We saw it in Russell Hance's season with Natalie, how they, you know, they were considered the 2, and how they lost. They get on this tribe of everyone who's never lost. Boom. They made the moves and they go all the way.
Just look at last season. Look at the women. Look at what the women did to the men. The men thought they had the numbers. The men,
Christina.
And myself and Alicia, we were from the losing tribe, and we just kept on fighting and made it to the finals.
And they're definitely not not saying that you and Alicia were at all, but I'm saying that Malcolm and Denise, they could be underdogs right now, but if they get a little momentum, they're both really tough competitors. They're definitely not floaters by any sense of the word.
And we haven't even seen the merge yet.
Yeah.
And we said even last week, we were talking about how we think that Malcolm and Denise now, they are going to run this pretty far into the game because they have a tight bond together, for one. They've played the game now, and the other tribes are going to look to them as swing votes. And when you're viewed as a swing vote in this game,
you're safe.
And when you already have people on your tribe that you've been living with, you're sick of RC, you're sick of Abby, whoever you're sick of, and you get this new blood, and let's say they are nice, fun, good people. So when you get them and you're sick of people that you've been stuck with for 10 days, you're going to go with them over the people you've been wanting to vote off but haven't had a chance to.
And let's be very clear, Survivor knows exactly what they're doing with their edit. There is a reason that they showed us Calabout and why they're splitting men and women. If they redraw next week or they throw a man and woman on these two tribes, however they decide to do it, that changes the entire dynamic of Calabout, and then there's 3 people gone in a row. The show is smart about that, and if these players are smart, they can get really, really far, which is exciting.
Well, and they've also built these 2 players up as the underdog. So you look at it back in Palau when it was Stephanie and Bobby John as the final 2 of their entire tribe of, I think it went from 10 to 2. They had this underdog story. Now everyone's rooting for Malcolm, everyone's rooting for Denise. Here we go. We're waiting for next week to see how it's going to shift and change, and we're rooting for them. They're going to be the kind of underdog heroes of the rest of the season.
Well, partially because we do love them, but we love them because we've seen so much of them.
Yeah.
Because they're in every tribal council. They lose everything. Yeah. So I mean, we get to see them competing longer at these immunity challenges than anyone else because they're terrible.
Well, because they have a dead weight.
Well, they have a lot of dead weight. They have
they cut
4 players.
4 players.
I mean, that's crazy, right?
4. I mean,
they have to do something next week. They can't have a tribe of 2.
They're going to switch it up.
I thought 3. I thought that at least with these 3, I was like,
I really thought they had a chance with that immunity challenge. Oh my gosh, how much were you screaming? Like,
we'll get to that.
Well, let's also keep in mind though that Russell, as hard as he tried, never found the immunity idol.
Yeah.
So Denise and Malcolm still have an opportunity to go into some sort of merge or some shift. Not a merge quite yet, I don't think, but a shift of these tribes. One of them having an immunity idol.
Hopefully they find. We saw them in the preview searching and just tearing their camp apart. Hopefully they will find that.
They have to find it.
Hopefully, come on, guys, it's right in front of you.
Because if nothing else, what they will think in their minds is that if Russell went out of the game with an idol in his pocket, that is going to come back into play. They'll at least think that, so it might energize them to start searching for another idol, thinking it's back in when it's been there under their nose all along.
I wonder if they do if there's a swap next week. If that, let's say they don't find the idol. If there's a swap, let's say into 2 tribes. What do they just make that idol leave? They can't put it on one tribe and not the other, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes down.
No, I think what happens is that if they merge and no one finds the idol, there's no idol. It's gone.
It disappears.
Disappears.
Yeah.
I like how they talked to Lisa Welch a little bit at the beginning of this episode again, and she's actually
she's going to be saved.
Yeah, and she's a smarter player than I think anybody gave her credit for early on. You in particular, Justin Walter.
I know. I did not give her credit. I thought she was not going to go far, and
I
then
thought she was going to be a floater as well.
Slowly but surely, we have seen her evolve into a player. And I do have to say, it's kind of like Kathy from Marquesas way back season in the beginning, where if her tribe would have lost early, she would have been gone. But now she's going to be good.
And we've got a special caller on the line.
We do.
We've got last week's eliminated survivor, Angie, on the phone. How you doing, Angie?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. Do you prefer to be called Angie or Angelia?
Angie's fine.
Okay, can I ask you where Angelia came from? I've never heard of that name in my life, and I love it.
My mom, she thought of Angel, and then just added IA to it.
Your mom is an intelligent woman. Was she a bit of a hippie or anything?
She probably was back in the day. I'm not really sure.
Well, we thank you for calling in. What did you think about tonight's episode?
It was kind of sad at first.
Yeah.
Seeing my tribe, but the challenge was exciting. We were so close. That thing was.
The immunity challenge was definitely the most exciting part of the episode. Were you glad you were gone for the rain at the beginning of the episode? Were you happy to be away from that?
Yeah, I was actually kind of happy. I was like, at least I dodged that, but I still wanted to be there really bad.
Of course.
Even though the rain sucks, but it looks miserable. I felt bad for him.
But more importantly than wanting to be there, you wanted cookies. Please, as a huge Survivor fan, 25 seasons I've watched, please redeem yourself right now and tell me you didn't really want cookies.
Okay, let me explain the cookies. Okay, so going into Tribal Council, I knew from day 2, we were voting Roxy out. 100% I knew I was okay. So going in there, Roxy was the one getting voted out. It was not going to be me at all. So, everyone was so serious and there was so much tension. And then, he asked Roxy, what's one thing you change about the tribe? And she said, to do less work around camp. And I could have went off about like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then he asked me, and I said, well, so we could have cookies. I was trying to lighten the mood a little bit, you know, have a little joke just to lighten the mood.
It's
Obviously, if he was going to give us something, I would have said something very different.
Yeah, well, it was a cute answer.
Yeah.
And plus, who doesn't want cookies? Come on.
What kind of cookies did you eat first when you got off the island?
Some Filipino cookie. I don't know, but they did give me cookies and Doritos right when I got out.
I love it. I love it. So what did you think about the Philippines in general? I mean, you spent, obviously, time in the game and then time away from the game. What did you think about the Philippines overall?
I thought it was so beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of your tribe, can you give us a little insight into what it was really like living with Malcolm and Denise and Russell? You know, we saw them tonight, but from firsthand experience, what was it like living with them now that you're out of the game and you can kind of talk about it?
I mean, it wasn't bad. They were really good, very good people, easy to get along with. I enjoyed them, to be honest.
And Malcolm, you seemed like you guys were pretty close, kind of like good snuggle buddies.
We're snuggle buddies.
Snuggle buddies.
Do you regret that at all, looking back now? Do you regret how that was, you know, how you were kind of viewed by your tribe mates for being so close with Malcolm and for cuddling with him at night? Would you do that differently if you had another opportunity?
Well, the only person who really had a problem with it was Roxy, and no, I don't regret it. He saved my life. I still thank him to this day. It was so cold out there. You have no idea. He saved my life, and he kept us out warm, so it was good.
Well, two of us do have an idea because we've both done reality. However,
I don't.
Honey,
we have froze out in the wild.
I think you would have survived on your own. That's just because I believe in the power of a strong woman, and I believe in you. No, but no, I get that. I understand that. I'd probably find a snuggle buddy as well.
I snuggle next to Tarzan, and everyone's like,
gosh.
"Oh, you know what? You don't understand.
Yeah.
You're freezing, and it goes down to 40 degrees.
Yeah.
You'll snuggle with a turtle."
Angie, one thing we've talked about on our after show is how starting in a tribe of 6 people is very different than starting in a tribe of 10 in most regular seasons of Survivor. So if you would have been on a different season where you may have been on a tribe of 10, how do you think your game would have been different, and how far do you think you would have gotten?
You know, it's hard to say, but I think I would have done very well. I wouldn't have had to have so much pressure on my back. I mean, but I did like it at the same time because, you know, it really pushed you to play the game. You couldn't hide. You couldn't lay low. I liked that part about it, but I kind of wished we would have had 2 tribes because I do feel like I would have gone a lot farther.
I feel like in most seasons you have a few tribal councils to kind of like ease yourself into the game. Unless you're the old player who's always voted out first, you have a little bit of time to start to ease yourself into the game and then catch a lucky break or two. On a tribe of 6, you've got to play the game from day 1 or you're just out. We've seen it in historically on Survivor. Pretty blondes make it pretty far when given the opportunity. So I think maybe, I mean, there was probably some of that. Obviously, it came down to they just needed the tribe to be strong because there was nobody left. But I think in a different season, a girl like you probably could have done a lot better.
If you guys didn't lose immunity.
Yeah, if you guys
I
didn't.
lasted as long as I could.
Yeah.
So,
No, you did
losing
good.
every single challenge, you know, and I was the youngest one there. I mean, I was proud of myself. I was proud of the game I played, even though, you know, I don't know. I did the best that I could.
should be.
As you should be.
It's a great accomplishment to be on the show. A lot of people try auditions after auditions and not even making it, Justin being one.
Yes.
And it's huge to even make it as far as you can, to play the game and strategize. You don't know how the game's going to turn out, so I applaud you.
Yeah, good job. One other question I have is, we didn't see your tribe looking for the immunity idol. Were you guys actually looking for it? We never saw, you know, we saw the red and yellow tribes constantly looking, but we didn't see you guys. Were you guys looking for it?
Well, the first couple of days, we were actually looking all over, like up in the jungle, under things, under bridges, everything. We were looking for like a whole day, but we couldn't find it. And then Zane kind of gave us the impression that Russ had it, and so we kind of just gave up on it. But if we would have found the clue, I mean, it probably would have made things a lot easier.
Well, of course, right? Had you been a fan of the show coming on, or had you watched it prior, or what was that like for you? Yeah?
Not a super fan, but definitely a fan. I love the show.
Is it kind of wild to think now that people are going to be a fan of you? Is that, I mean,
It is
going to happen.
It's crazy.
yeah, because you're now part of the Survivor family until, you know, the end of time, essentially.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Definitely very different. I like it, though, a lot.
Yeah, well, you are a sweetheart. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to call in. We really do appreciate it. Feel free to call us back later in the season, as things progress. Hopefully Matt Singh is around a little bit longer. I mean, it looks like we've probably seen the end of them. But I do want to thank you so much for calling in, Angie.
Yeah,
Well, thank you, guys.
Take care, babe.
Take care.
Bye.
That's our live studio audience applauding. No, I love how I say "take care, babe," like I know her. We're good friends. We go way back.
I feel like we know her. She's
We're Facebook. Oh wait, Angie and I are not Facebook friends. I did message her though.
No,
She should add me.
Angie, add her. You guys are alumni. You're family now. But real quick, while we're talking about our fans, though, I want to thank all of our iTunes listeners out there. Thank you guys so much for listening every week, for tuning in, for subscribing to our podcast. If you don't do it already, you can do it on an app called Podcasts with an S on your iPhone. All of your favorite AfterBuzz shows will automatically be downloaded each week, so you don't have to worry about it. You can listen to us, when you're hiking Runyon Canyon, if you're out here in LA, or if you're anywhere else,
Or the Great Wall of China.
Or the Great Wall of China. I mean, we are downloaded and listened to each week in 77 different countries. We had 11 million downloads last week from AfterBuzz TV.
Number 5.
Yeah, which is pretty incredible. Christina's apparently our Chinese resident expert
I'm
tonight.
Korean American, but I'm representing China.
Nice. But we want to thank you guys, and please get on iTunes and rate and comment us, please. We appreciate 5 stars. If you give us 4, we want to know why, and we want to know how we can do better for you guys, because we are here for you. And also, please tell your friends about us. We really do appreciate it. It keeps us doing what we're doing, and keeps us improving. We want to improve each and every week. You guys are huge fans of the show, and so are we. We want to give you the best show possible. So please get on iTunes and let us know what you think. We appreciate it. So, moving on.
Here's a good question, though.
Yes.
I think people should comment and ask us who they would like to be a guest here, like a Survivor alum.
Absolutely.
Because we're always trying to look for guests.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yep.
Can we real quick talk about the Yellow Tribe? We didn't talk about Pete and Abby and RC.
Today.
Let's talk about Pete, Abby,
Before
and
we get to
RC.
the challenge, we need to talk about that.
Let's do it.
I mean, crazy.
I mean, that
Drama.
was pretty.
So in terms of Pete finding the clue that Abby and RC had hidden, and then stashing into the bag, trying to be little Russell Hantz on the show, trying to stir up shit, which he did stir up shit, so I give him credit for that. But he now has this arrogant, cocky attitude that he is running that tribe and he is manipulating it, which he is.
Yeah, well.
But he is totally coming off as very cocky and full of power.
Well, he's been cocky from the beginning of the show.
Well, he needs to keep in mind that while he's employing that Russell Hantz mentality, how did it work out for Russell? Russell played the game how many times?
Runner-up.
How many times did he win? 0.
But he did do a good job, and there's such a rift now between Abby and RC, which they were 1 and 2 together from day one. Well, together for a little bit. But that's a huge rift now, and I love how Lisa, like we had mentioned earlier, she's just, I want this to happen. I'm just going to listen and do what they want me to do.
I love how she
doesn't
said
really have a choice right now.
But it's good.
Well, you know what? That started to change a week or so ago. Lisa started to become a little bit more of a player in the game. She got some opportunities, not by anything necessarily she had done, but by some external factors. And I love how Lisa just said, she's like, you know what? This flame keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I'm just going to blow on it. Add a little oxygen to it. Just sit back, and that's pretty cool.
Great analogy.
And I love that she shows her age in that moment, because these 2 young girls are going crazy at each other. One's like getting attacked for something she didn't do, which is driving her nuts. And you've got to be aware, that somebody may have done this to you other than her, or vice versa. Everybody has to be aware of that. It's not so cut and dry as everybody thinks right now. And I wonder how much they're really, really aware of.
Well, and that's why I do give Pete credit, because it does seem like they both think it's each other that set each other up, you know, which I think that's a good move.
He's so sneaky.
It's a good move.
Set up that clue and just
like it.
I knew.
I think he's a tool.
I think it's a good move, though.
Yeah.
It is smart.
And I like it. It added some drama.
That tribe needs some drama. Every tribe needs drama except for Matt Singh. You guys don't need anything, right?
We want you to succeed, please.
Yeah.
Aww.
Immunity.
And purple's my favorite color. If they are in fact purple, are they blue
They're
or purple?
the blue tribe.
Well, there's a lot of purple on their buffs.
I forgot to give you your buff. Your Met.
Oh yeah, you owe me a buff. Thank you.
They have a lot of purple in their buff too, and Russell wears purple all the time, so it makes me feel like they're the purple tribe.
Bluish, purple, black, and bluish, purple, whatever.
I'm a train wreck. So, the immunity challenge. I thought it was a pretty cool one.
It's good.
Jeff Probst announces right out the gate that each tribe is allowed to compete with 3 survivors because Matt Singh only has 3 survivors.
We talked about this. This season, they are not making people, if you sit out, they're not making the people who didn't sit out. So it's different, whereas in past seasons, if you sit out, you have to play the next challenge. This season, they're not doing that.
No, they did the same in our season, like, because if we didn't have an even number, they had the same people step out, and you'd always see Tarzan stepping out.
See, I don't like that. They used to do it on Survivor, where if you sit out, you have to compete.
Probably
so it's strategic.
2008 or 2009.
You know, I missed that rule because it's more strategic on picking who you sit out, and you don't have this complete advantage.
I understand that, but at the same time, when you've whooped their asses over and over and over again, you have to sit out 3 players, you should have some sort of advantage still.
Good point.
You kicked their butts 3 weeks in a row, so I get it. And of course, the yellow tribe and the red tribe both set out all the girls.
6 girls set out.
Like what douchebags? If that right there doesn't show those women that they need to stick together, nothing will. I mean, that's the perfect example. Like, look, these guys are going to try to get rid of you because right now there are 7 women and 7 men left in the game.
But in their defense, which woman would you have played over one of the men?
None of them, unless I had Denise on my tribe.
That's what happened. She had to play. I mean, clearly, when you look at the tribes, the 6 women, and I'm not a chauvinist, the 6 women that set out are not stronger than the 6 men that played.
It was a pretty physical challenge.
It was a physical challenge, and even Denise had a big lead, and she lost the lead. You know, and not attributing that to that she's a female, but her size, she's smaller. She isn't as strong as all those guys, and I could understand.
She's stronger than Russell.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Definitely.
Russell is a joke. I think he drives me crazy now.
He just put it on his Facebook. He feels humiliated.
Yeah, I could care less. He should feel humiliated because when I watched his original season, I remember I couldn't stand him by the end of it, and then this season, I was kind of like, oh, cool, Russell. You know, I'm kind of feeling him. Good for you. You got to come back.
You drafted him first in the draft league,
I know,
by the way.
I know. And a couple weeks into the series, I'm like, okay, I can't stand him, and I remember why now. He just talks a big game. He runs his mouth all the time. Yeah. He thinks he's like this. He's got this God-given talent as a leader,
what about
but
him
he's not.
Freaking out at the end of the challenge.
He's crazy.
To God.
Well, during the challenge, he fell down and just laid there the entire time while Malcolm was trying to break the pots.
Yeah. And just passed out.
You're just laying in mud right now like a pig. Great. Go hang out at the pig farm.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
It is rough though, thinking like, you get the second chance and then you're on this tribe that really just sucks and you can't win. I understand where he's coming from, but it's also like you're attributing to that.
Completely.
You're not bringing them to any wins, so it's kind of like, I might feel bad for you, but really not anymore.
You can't just yell at your tribe every week when they're clearly trying, especially tonight. I feel like they really put a good effort forth. And
Except for Russell, I think he was winded. He was totally exhausted. But I think this is the first challenge we've ever seen. Scooping. Not even injured. There's no blood.
There was no blood.
No
Good
blood.
point, Christina.
There's no blood.
Congratulations. Can we have a round of applause from the booth?
Yeah.
Way to go, Scoopin'.
Live audience.
No blood.
Yeah, that is true. No, but Russell, I can't stand him.
Yeah.
He's just lazy. I don't like anybody who quits.
Well, he's gone.
Well, you just ruined it for all of us.
No, they know.
Yeah, right.
They watch.
They know.
But it was kind of, you look at it came down to Malcolm versus Jeff Kent, baseball player. You know, you feel bad for Malcolm. He's going up against a pro baseball player and shooting this swinging thing
San
to hit
Francisco
these,
Giants.
hitting these, rice bowls to break. And clearly he's got the arm. He took like 3 out in 1 throw. And
that was amazing.
That was pretty cool. But I mean, in all fairness, though, being a pro ball player, how does that really help you swing a rope and break clay pots?
He's got good aim and eye coordination, whatever. But Malcolm, love Malcolm, did kind of drop the ball. He couldn't hit the last one.
Yeah. What would your strategy be? Because some of them obviously are higher and further away, and some are lower and closer. What do you go for?
Harder first.
Yes, absolutely. Done. I think so too. Do you? Yeah. Do you agree, Christina?
You would have to. You want to give it all in the beginning, and because you don't know how it's going to turn out at the end.
And you might get tired by the end.
You might get tired, and you do.
It's easier to hit the closer ones,
Yeah, that's a cool challenge.
Poor disappearing challenge.
I will say I do like the challenges this season because in the last few seasons they've done some repeats, quite a few repeats actually, which is kind of fun if you're a fan.
I love the water dive down challenge. That was amazing.
That was a great challenge. Tonight was a good one.
It was good.
It wasn't amazing, but it was good.
I was screaming. I was like, go,
we were all screaming. We wanted Malcolm to win so bad.
Well, I secretly feel like the producers really wanted Matt Singh to win this one too, because there was the puzzles generally are the great equalizer,
right?
And this was a pretty straight up physical challenge. And I think the producers thinking, well, if we're gonna make this physical, this is a good shot for Matt Singh to probably pull one out because they're a pretty strong tribe right now, physically. And yet again...
But they know that each tribe gets to sit 3 people, too. And I don't think the producers really played it up that. I think that it was kind of just like... And it's not a bad thing that they lost because it's making for a great storyline in the show.
It does, but it's a very physical challenge. But then again, their spirits mentally, they're crushed. You know, so it's kind of like give or take. Like, what do you do in a situation like that?
You know what though? I think me personally, I wouldn't be crushed right now. If I'm the last 2, if I'm Denise or Malcolm, I'm thinking, you know what? Swing for the goddamn fences.
Yeah,
what do you have to lose? Yeah. And that's kind of a great mentality because a lot of people go into this situation or into any situation in life kind of timid and scared, and they're just trying to like they just don't want to be last. Yeah. They don't want to get eliminated. They don't want to be the worst, whatever it is in life. And sometimes when something like this happens, you're given the freedom to just swing for the fences and go for broke. And they have an opportunity to do that now, and I think it could really play out well for them.
It's gonna play out well. They're gonna get welcomed with open arms on whatever team they end up next week. Because I don't know. I think we're in agreement that next week there's gonna be a swap. I think it's gonna be two tribes of 7. There's 14 people left. Whether it's a random draw or Malcolm and Denise get split 1 in each tribe, whatever it is, they're gonna be welcomed even if they're still together. People are going to scramble for them.
It's almost a reset for the game, and I'm really excited about that because Jeff Probst did say earlier in the season, Christina and I were actually, you didn't go, but we were at the Jeff Probst show, and he said off camera that it's a really, really exciting season, and it starts to pick up about midway through the season and it gets really, really good. I can't imagine he would say that if Matt Singh just goes away and there's just 2 tribes. No, that's pretty boring.
No, they're gonna go far.
I love a good underdog story.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Oh, I can't wait because so far the show's been boring as shit.
No, it's been good.
No, I loved Angie's cookies.
Oh,
sorry.
I mean, but that's what you remember so far. Isn't that sad?
And Zane Knight's one-liner, if you're eat first, you're last. Okay, you're right. It has been a little bit boring.
It's setting up the season for I think this great underdog story. You know, I think it's setting it up big time for this great underdog story.
Yeah.
And I also think that, you know, now today was the first episode out of the first 4 that I felt like we actually spent time with the red tribe and a little more with the yellow tribe. So now there's less time that has to be spent on the disappearing tribe, and we're starting to now see characters and personalities out of those other people because the blue tribe doesn't need all the focus anymore.
I think that's because next week we're going to see a lot more of them because there's going to be 2 tribes.
It's going to be 2 tribes of 7.
I can't wait.
Done.
I can't wait. Oh, so you guys, I don't know what this live read says. ABTV fall lineup. Okay, well, I don't know what that means. I was not given this memo, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about AfterBuzz TV just for a quick moment. You guys, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to mention it again because it's worth mentioning. We have over 50 shows we're covering at AfterBuzz this season. That is a huge improvement for us. It's a big, big, big lineup, and we're getting over 11 million downloads per week in 77 different countries. That is something to be very proud of.
Huge.
So congratulations.
Yeah.
To everyone at AfterBuzz, my co-host included, myself included. I think we're all a part of this.
Because it was 8.5 million, and now it's gone to 11. That's huge.
And you know what? In like less than 2 years, AfterBuzz has been around. Pretty incredible stuff. Yeah. I have no idea if that's what I was supposed to talk about right now, but that's what I talked about. Nice. Thank you. I get a thumbs up from the booth. Thanks for the heads up. So let's wrap this episode up with Tribal Council, which once again, for the 4th episode in a row, the disappearing Matt Singh tribe.
Yeah.
Not a shocker. Going into Tribal Council, everybody's trying to make everyone else feel like they're safe.
We knew what would happen.
Yeah. It wasn't too shocking, partially because Christina's friends with Russell on Facebook, so we saw that he was humiliated.
Yes, I'm friends with also Malcolm.
Here's the thing, I think he was humiliated because he was blindsided. Like, he was blindsided when he shouldn't have.
And he spent a good portion of the episode looking for the immunity idol, which was right beneath his nose.
They completely played him. They completely played him.
He should have used some strategy like, you know what, I have the clue for the immunity idol. He should have done something like scrapping, like, you know, took Denise to the side and say, like, hey, I have a clue. If we can find this together, we can get rid of Malcolm. I didn't see anything like that.
Or just say he has the damn idol. Be like, look, that we've seen him make idols in so many seasons past that fool people. Just be like, look, I've got the idol. If you guys are going to risk it, that's cool. I'm going to play it. One of you guys are going to go.
But also, when he made the decision, we don't know when he made the decision to vote Malcolm instead of Denise. When he consciously made that decision, that's when he could have approached her and said, hey, I have the idol. I'm playing it, and you know, that sort of thing. He could have done a little more strategizing, or he could have gone to Denise and said, I'm going with you, here's the clue, like Christina said. But you know, he felt safe, which I give credit to Malcolm and Denise, that they made him feel safe. They did a great job strategically and making him feel safe, and I think that they deserve credit for that. And partially it's because I think of who they are and their personalities, and they're genuine and believable.
Well, and I also think that Russell's kind of dumb, and we've seen that in 2 seasons. He's not a very smart guy.
I think he's naive in terms of social game,
socially awkward, and if I give him any credit, I think it's when he sat down with Denise and talked to her about when he was 8 years old, he was jumped. I mean, she's a therapist, a sex therapist, but she's still a therapist. She understands psychology. Yes. And he said when he was 8 years old, he got jumped by a couple of boys, and they beat him up pretty bad. It wasn't like go to the hospital bad, but he chased down one of these kids and punched him in the face.
How awkward was that story?
Weird. And I understood, like, they were trying to show us like a softer side of him and trying to show that he's vulnerable, and he acts the way that he acts, and he reacts the way that he reacts because of that and because of situations like that in his life. So I get that, but he's just too much like hit you over the head with a sledgehammer every episode. I'm like, I would not want him on my tribe.
Well, Malcolm made the point in the episode, like he basically said, Russell doesn't understand where he fits in terms of social game. He has this misconception of who he is himself, which then contributes to his awkward social game and his kind of non-existent gameplay.
Yeah, I feel like his belief in himself and his love for himself is highly disproportionate to what it should actually be. He thinks he's a god amongst mere men, and that's just not the case. It never has been on the show.
Jeff Probst even pointed it out too. He was like, what's going on here, Russell? You kind of talk to yourself like you're the superhero, but you're just only a man. And it's interesting when he pointed that out. I was like, you know, that's...
But you can be that character and still, but if you still have an idea of where you fit socially, Coach, for example, thinks he's a god amongst men, but he knew where he was in the tribe. He knew socially where he fit in, where Russell doesn't have that ability.
Coach was kind of a genius in a crazy sort of way.
Where Coach played off that I'm a god amongst men type thing that Russell is trying to go for, but Coach did it well because he knew his how people viewed him.
Russell's just crazy in a crazy sort of way.
We're going to talk to him next week, hopefully.
Can't wait.
We'll talk to him next week. We'll have him in.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll have Rob Sistorino too as in our in-studio guest. That's what we're working on.
Oh, but Russell, poor guy.
Oh Lord. So Russell's out of here.
Yeah.
The yellow tribe wins it yet again. They get steaks, which is pretty cool.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Some protein.
I think we're gonna see that next week.
Yeah. Oh, the
Grill it up.
cook-up? Yeah. And then the Calabout tribe, the red tribe, they win some spices and oils, but they traded in for tarp, which is smart. And Matt Singh once again. I mean, just they're being decimated.
Yeah.
So I think we don't have any news and gossip. I don't believe. Do we?
Christina.
No.
Christina's usually good, but she's been in China, so we're gonna pass on news and gossip for the week. But let's go
I can tell you what happened in China.
Right.
Oh,
what did happen in China?
They have fake liquor there.
Oh gosh.
I never thought that would be a thing, but they have fake Johnny Walker, fake Grey Goose. There was a point that I had 15 shots of tequila, and I was still standing, but that was a result of my...
Well, we have fake alcohol called
There's
O'Doul's.
no way I can stand with 15 shots of tequila. I'd be...
Oh, geez.
Well, actually, I did fall, but still.
That was some news and gossip, Christina. I love you.
There's some other
Predictions.
stuff, too.
Yeah, let's go for predictions. I'm going to start with Christina.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I think there's going to be a merge that's going to happen. And there's
Merge or a split?
Let her predict.
No, but that's
It
different.
could be a
This is her
merge. It could be a
prediction.
merge.
No, what do
or
you
a
think?
split.
Merge or a split?
I think there's going to be a merge. They're going to mix it up.
Okay.
So the people who they've been loyal to, like Scoopin and Penner, well, there's going to be a merge. They're going to
Merge
switch
is
it
when
up.
they all come together. Swap is
I'm sorry, like a swap. I think what they're going to do, they're going to swap the players around.
There you go.
They're going to draw rocks. Everyone's going to be switched around. It's going to be Penner and Scoopin, and then everyone's going to be mixed up, and their alliance is going to be messed up.
Okay.
Maybe. Or maybe Denise.
Or not.
I'm trying to think.
Or Denise and Malcolm will just go to either.
They'll either do something or they won't. That's your prediction.
That's a prediction.
Yes.
Justin, what do you think?
Definitely think there's going to be a swap. We did see in the preview that we haven't touched upon that the medics come in, and they show Jeff Kent playing with his knee, so they're trying to make us believe that Jeff Kent is medically maybe going to be evacuated. So, you know, it would be kind of ironic on the season where they bring back medically evacuated contestants if someone is actually medically evacuated. So it's either possibly Jeff Kent or maybe someone else gets injured or something happens that we don't know yet or see.
Abby hurt her knee.
Oh, Abby hurt her knee. Is that knee?
She said it was on the show.
So Abby hurt her knee. So it potentially will Jeff Kent or someone else be medically evacuated? I'm guessing not. I think they're teasing us. I don't think anybody's gonna get medically evacuated. I do think, like we've talked about it many times, Denise and Malcolm are going to go far now. I think they're going to be welcomed into several alliances, and they're going to be calling the shots. When they get merged onto these tribes, they're going to realize these people hate each other. They've been with each other and stuck with each other for 10 days.
Right, and nobody's gotten rid of dead weight. I hope that they split them up and each go to one tribe, but I really think that what they'll do is a swap. They'll draw rocks, different colored rocks, and make 2 new tribes. Either way, I think they're both going to be around for a long time. I'm really excited. I hope there's not a medical evacuation. However, if there is, I hope it's just not Denise or Malcolm, because I love them. Medevacs can really change the game. We've seen it over and over again. So something to look forward to next week. I want to thank you guys all for stopping by. Welcome back, Christina. It was great to have you. We have Ryan Carrillo back in the studio next week. Hope he's enjoying Madonna. For all of us here at AfterBuzz, I'm your host, AJ Gibson. We'll see you again. Oh, and let's do a real quick. I'm getting ahead of myself. Christina, you're on Twitter, right?
I'm on Twitter at Christina_Cha. Justin, you're on Twitter?
Justin F. Walter and Reality Rush.
Reality Rush, that's right. You can follow me on Twitter at _AJ Gibson, you guys. Check me out on my website, ajgibson.tv. Thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principal.